Hey everybody, Contrast again. And today guys, I'm here to do another anime review. And this anime review is to A Certain Magical Index Season 3. Episode 3, guys. So, let's get into it. So guys, in this episode of A Certain Magical Index, it left off with, obviously with the last episode left off, with Komajo and Izomara, I still need to get her name right, against one of the Right Sea of God. Now, during this, Karmi pops up, helping out Tomo and Izomara against this Right Sea of God, and they're able to escape from him. First off, they're able to escape from him, because unfortunately the Academy City, one of the Academy City robots interfered because some reason a brand new unit of specialized combat robots came in, into the city to obviously attack the palace, the palace they're supposed to be going into, to find the document C. Now, during this collision, obviously he's able to escape. He was able to escape with the Right Sea of God, because obviously now we have to deal with these robots that are attacking the main place where the document C is, so we have to go and deal with them. So during this, obviously, Tomo and Izo were able to infiltrate the palace church. Now, during that, we do get some information. First up, they were wondering why there was commotion going on. First, Komajo, Tomo was wondering what is going on. Why is the Academy City doing this right now? Because they said they're not supposed to be doing this. They're supposed not to do it unless something happened. Make sure they have to come in to the city to, well, obviously attack. And so what happens, Tomo decides to ring Misaka to tell him what's the news going on right now, and precisely talking about the news that's going on right now in the city they're in France. And he found out that there is nothing but this news on the news right now about what's going on in the city right now. And while talking to Misaka, this Right Sea comes back destroying back into the building. Problem is, we do find out one thing: Komajo left his phone still on, and obviously Misaka was still on the phone. So there was important information that she's supposed not to know that she ends up knowing. Because obviously, as she's still on the dial, she's still on the phone, on Kaji's phone, on Tomo's phone, obviously she has overheard something. Especially that she knows that Tomo no longer has his memories. He has amnesia. We already know that. But she didn't. And once she heard that was going on, and especially when she also heard the secret of the Imagine Breaker. Obviously, we don't know the full secret of the Imagine Breaker, but we do find out there is a major secret, which we all sort of guessed, or somewhat knew there was a major secret going on with Tomo's Imagine Breaker, because obviously how people were fearing it, even though there was a lot of weaknesses to it, people were still fearing it, even though they know the weaknesses. Because we do find out there is a true secret behind Tomo's Imagine Breaker, which actually, before Tomo had his memories wiped out, he knew. And obviously you can tell Tomo himself knew he had a secret to his Imagine Breaker. But obviously he couldn't remember what it was, how it activates or anything. That's all that Tomo knows. So when the Right Sea of God, after they defeat him, after learning about his ability, how his power works, we found out the Right Sea of God's magic power only works on one target. That means he can't do it on multiple targets. He can, if he does end up focusing on multiple targets, it seems like it has a split ability. In other words, depending on the situation, he can only use one of the effects of his magic ability to defend himself against two opponents. It makes sense because at one point he uses flower. He has one flower and then one air ability. He uses 2 times on magical abilities using air and flower. And it seems like, first up, and what actually caused the cutting force, the power, comes from the actual flower, but that means that the physical form comes from the flower, while the actual cutting force comes actually from the air. Problem is, it seems like he can't do it at the same time on both targets. He can only focus on one target. And once they realized that, Toma was able to defeat this right seer god. Now, when he was defeating him, this is when they had a conversation about Toma maybe he forgot his memories, and also that he forgot the importance and the true power of his Imagine Breaker, which we still don't know because what he cut short, because the Academy soldiers from Academy City, along with Accelerator, came in and with a special weapon that unfortunately caused a lot of damage, so they have to separate. Now, this right seer god, even though it looked like he died, he actually survived, which is surprising. Like, I'm surprised how he survived that. Toma and he's well able to survive as well, by the way, but he had a direct hit from that, but he was able to survive it because of his ability, because as this attack was one whole attack, it was one thing, so he was able to defend himself from that attack. So that's the reason why we found out. And when he reached to his secret base, it looks like he unfortunately get killed by another right seer god, because obviously he failed his mission and and plus the way he was doing things wasn't actually how the Roman officers wanted to do things. So obviously he got executed for those reasons, and he died at that point. And we do find out this person that killed him ends up being also a saint. So he's on the same power as, I'm trying to remember her name, the Soil chick. I'm trying to remember her name. The one of the Akutsuma of that church worship. It's her. I'm trying to remember. I think her name is Kogami. I think that's her name. I might be completely wrong about her name, but you're thinking you guys know who I'm talking about. But he's on the same power as her, which is actually impressive. And so we definitely know he's going to be a big major threat. So we have to be careful about him. Now, another thing we do find out is actually something to do with Tomo's family name, Kamijo. Something I feel like is important because I do remember his spelling. On when I read the name and recognized the spelling of the word that this Roman Orthodox Church member, that the Zareth and Zyra, I can't remember his name, but Fire Dude was interrogating. She says one thing, Kamijo, which in translation says above God. She says Kamijo. Who else do we know, or what else do we know that has Kamijo? Has that saying. The family name, Kamijo. Tomo, Kamijo. Kamijo. Now, this could be just a major coincidence, or that it has something important. And I believe it has something important. The reason why maybe Toma has the Imagine Breaker could have something to do with his family name. Now, maybe his family doesn't even know that. Possibly because obviously they look normal. But don't forget, his father does have some form of obsession with relics, with good luck charms, for Toma's sake, especially if he has bad luck. But there could be something meaning to that. Because maybe the Kojima family, his father's either keeping a major secret from them, or that he unintentionally is unintentionally doing stuff that the family is actually meant to be doing. Because the meaning of Kamijo means above God. That is what is said here. Kamijo, above God. And someone's name is Kamijo. His family name is known as Kamijo. Tomo Kamijo. That just shows you something. Kamijo, above God. There is definitely some possibilities Imagine Breaker is connected with it. That could be the part of this major secret. It has something to do with God involved. And obviously we don't, and it could be that divine power is also a separate ability in this, because a lot of people, when we hear divine power, when we hear the word divine power or divine ability, what category would you put it as? Would you put it as a separate category? Divine power? Would you classify it as a supernatural ability? Or would you classify it as a magic ability? Which would you classify it as? Because from what I can tell from this series, there is two possibilities can be. Definitely not. It's definitely not supernatural. We can definitely mention it's definitely not they're connected to psychic abilities. It's definitely nothing like that. But it is connected to one of these two. It's its own separate ability, power, or it's magic. But most people would think divine power is still magic. A lot of people actually still think that way. But obviously, people do think divine power is separate. It's not magic. It's something else. Which, okay, you can put it that way. It makes sense. There is some differences between magic and divine power. Because divine power, I would say, in a way, is a bit more superior when it comes to power. Like, when it comes to power and possible destruction it can cause, yes, it's completely different to what magic can do. Especially that some magics can obviously do a bit more better than divine power could pull off. Because so far what I know from divine power seems, holy cow, scary as fuck, and there is no other point except to cause destruction with it. When magic can be used, even though it seems bad in a lot of Christian or any form of religion sides of things, a lot of magic is classified as dark evil, even though it can heal wounds and stuff. Maybe because it does somewhat seeing a lot of divine readings that possibly if you can heal wounds, you don't die naturally, you don't die from these wounds. And because in a lot of these divine things, dying is natural, it's holy being thing, like usually that kind of thing. Possibility with they see someone able to heal wounds is a bad thing. So obviously that's why a lot of magic is seen as dark in the divine side sense. So that could be the one reason behind it as well. Right, it's not classified as magic. But that's the thing. Someone's a magic breaker. It's not either extra ability, aka supernatural ability, or magic. It's possibility what I'm saying right now. Divine power, or at least its own separate ability. It's not connected to any esper or magic ability. It's its own other form of power. Its own another form of ability that Somo able to use, and it has more power than even Tomo himself, who completely forgot, can do. And it has maybe something to do with the reason why, and his name has something to do with the reason why he has it. Kamajo, above God. Kamajo, above God. That's something I really want to fully understand. Above God. Above God. And his net in Kamajo, Toma's family name, means what they said here. Above God. That's quite interesting to know about, and I definitely believe a lot of people should pay attention to that. Divine God. People should pay attention to that. When she says Kamijo, and you see the other translation below it, Divine God. Above God, above God. Yeah, above God. That's something you need to pay attention to. I hope you guys pay attention to it, or if you haven't and you're only watching this review to understand what this episode is about, so you can watch it better or something, pay attention to that. Above God and Kamajo. Tomo's name. Just think about it. Just really pay attention to that. Why that comes into carry and possibly has connections to his Esper ability. Anyway, that's all I can really say there. And the episode pretty much ends like that. And yeah, there's nothing else I can really say. And animation quality, animation looked good. A lot more better compared to the last few episodes, I would say personally. Action looks a lot better. And I will say, entertainment-wise, it definitely feels more entertaining than the other two episodes. I feel like because last week's episode, I was coming back into it again. It has been a while since I watched a certain series. No, I do rewatch a lot of my series, and a certain series is definitely some of the series I do rewatch there and then, but I do get bored sometimes. Rewatching some series obviously makes sense, and I would say certain, because of how good it is, it does make me feel a bit annoying that I have to rewatch something that is good over and over again, because if it's something good, something very good, you often remember what the hell's going on. If you know the hell's going on, obviously it's not a good idea to rewatch things, because when you rewatch things Mostly because you either forgot most of the story, or that you just feel the urge to rewatch it. Problem is, if it's actually a good series, most of the time you don't want to rewatch it, because most good things you obviously remember a lot of, like completely remember of. Because of that, you would more likely don't want to rewatch it because you know what's gonna fucking happen majority of the time. So it doesn't feel too as entertaining as it was originally when you first watched it. So it does get boring after that. But mind my previous knowledge, so because of that, it has been a while since I watched a certain Magic Index and the rest of a certain series. But just seeing that reaction, that we got to see what the episode is about, was interesting. And knowing that there's going to be a lot of plot holes, a lot of dangerous sides coming in, especially when Misako learning about Kamajo having amnesia, finding out what Kamajo's actual name means above God. There is all a lot we're learning here, which I'm actually surprised about and really want to know what's going to happen. Especially, how is Misako going to face Tomo? Because when she realizes that Tomo has amnesia, she wants to know, when did you have amnesia? When did you get it? And did you remember me? Or like, all that she'd be wondering. Like, obviously she knows he remembers. He remembers her, obviously, in that point, because obviously he rings her phone. So she definitely knows it's not just right there and then. But that's when she realized that, I mean, majority of this time he had amnesia and never told us, or told anyone. That was something that she's going on her mind right now. And she was wondering, what the fuck is going on? That's all she was thinking right then. And just learning that for her, I believe it's a big shock. Especially if a person you like will have a crush. Because obviously, we all know she has a crush on Tomo. Just seeing her reaction still when it comes to that. So, like, especially when he first rings her, like, classic tsundere, classic, obviously you have a crush on him. Gotta mention that, I like how it happened. Made me chuckle. But anyway, overall, there's nothing else I can say. And again, animation was good. That's all I can say. And yeah. Anyway, that's my that's my anime review to A Certain Magic Index Season 3, Episode 3. Hope guys, I kept on chat fans today. If you guys want to film out, go in my description down below. My address there, and yeah. And also guys, if you want to follow me on Patreon, my Patreon's down there as well. And also guys, if you want to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Anime Reno. These are such much to do. On Facebook and Anime Reno, just search Connor Travis, the same name as my channel. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, just search at Connor Travis 1998. Anyway guys, I hope guys will get subscribe, and I'll see you guys there. Bye guys!